BBC documentary proves Jesus was a Buddhist monk named Issa. The life story of Jesus, one of the most famous of people ever said to have lived, does have many gaping holes in it, as between the ages of 13 and 29 there is no biblical record of the whereabouts of Jesus in Palestine. However, according to a documentary, watch at the end of the article, by the BBC, Jesus was, in fact, a Buddhist monk and was not crucified. A Russian doctor by the name of Nicolas Notovitch was traveling through India, Tibet, and Afghanistan during the 19th century, and it was said that he spent time at a monastery in Tibet with the name of the Tibetan Buddhist monastery, which was in Himas, in Leh in India. He is said to have translated a document that tells the story of Jesus, aka Issa, which means Son of God. The story said that he had been born during the 1st century into a family who was poor in Israel. The tutors in the monastery called him the Son of God from aged 13 to 29. It was said that Notovitch went on to translate 200 of the verses out of the 224 that were in the document. A Lama explained to Notovitch the scope, along with the level of enlightenment, which Jesus had managed to achieve during his time at the monastery, and this was said to be an extreme level. The Lama said that Jesus was a great prophet and had been the first following 22 Buddhas. He went on to say that he was greater than all of the Dalai Lamas as he constituted the spirituality of the Lord. 3 wise men could have been Buddhists looking for reincarnation of Lama. The finding and translation of the documents at the monastery do happen to be in line with what has become known as the lost years of Jesus. Following the death of a holy man or great Buddhist, the wise men were said to have consulted the stars and then taken off on a long journey with the hope of finding the baby who they believed was the reincarnation of the Lama. Once that child reaches an age when he can be taken from his parents, he is taken and then educated in the faith of Buddhism. Many experts are in agreement that this was the foundation of the origin of the story about the 3 wise men who visited the stable in Bethlehem on the night Jesus was born. There is the belief that Jesus went to India with the wise men when he was 13 and brought up as a Buddhist. One of the senior Lama members of the monastery told a news agency that Jesus visited India to study Buddhism and he took inspiration from the wisdom and laws of Buddha. The verses have been documented by many people since, including Nicolas Notovitch, who had in 1952 recorded the accounts of the time Jesus spent at the monastery. It was also said that Jesus had spent some of the time teaching in many holy cities, including Jagannath, Rajagriha and Benares, and this led to Brahmins excommunicating him, and Jesus then had to flee and went to the Himalayas to continue the study of Buddhism. A German scholar, Holger Kirsten, wrote about Jesus' early years and said that Jesus had settled inside among the Aryans and he wanted to perfect himself. The BBC made a documentary entitled Jesus Was a Buddhist Monk, and it looks at the theory that Jesus was not crucified and when he was in his 30s he went back to the place he loved. The documentary said that Jesus escaped death and went to stay in Afghanistan with Jewish settlers. Local people were said to have confirmed the fact that Jesus had spent many years in the Kashmir Valley and had remained there until he passed away at the age of 80 years. If Jesus did spend 16 years when he was a youth in the region, along with the last 45 years of his life, he would have spent around 61 years in total in India, Tibet, and regions close by. There are locals who believe that Jesus was in fact laid to rest at the Rosabal shrine in Srinagar in Kashmir.